Hey all, about to install the rear front runner ladder for 2006 LR3. Alright, step one of installing this rear ladder, you gotta take the 4 torque bolts out. Got a T27 torque head, just a matter of loosening those. Alright, once those are out, next step, Phillips head and door handle right there. Alright, once you get that screw out, next up is to get this trim out from around the post. Just a matter of prying it off. It's got, looks like three little catches. Alright, next up I've got this little tool for getting interior stuff off, but I got in the side and popped down. We need to get this plastic panel off. And just up inside we've got the little rivets in there. We got to pull it carefully so we don't break those off. Alright, so this thing can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. You know, the first little layer here that you can run your fingers along the edge, get these out. Same with the right side here. You've got a couple. Start on the edge, work your hand out along the edge. You'll see that it's caught on this right here, so we got to get the back down so we can pull it out. And if you look in from the side, let's see if I can get a better view here. See that little blue pop rivet? Let's see if I can get in here and get a good view. Those guys are the ones that are coming out from the back side of the panel. Those can be a little bit of a pain. I just pulled slowly and they've started to pop out pretty easy. So just a heads up there. Real quick, just looking at the back side of my panel, I noticed this one right here looks like it was bent inward. Whenever it was installed at the factory, it didn't get lined up. But everything came out, looks like, without any breakage, so that's good. So you got 1, 2, 3 white ones on the front, 1, 2, 3 on the left. Looks like a total of 5 blue clips in the back. And then here's what you're going to see underneath. So just to give a little recap, what I did was I loosened the front panels, the front part of the panel, loosened those, then I started from the back edge, worked my way along to pop that out, and then once it's completely loose, you want to lift down and pull, lift down and pull outward, just like that. Alright, next up we're locating this electrical connector that's going to feed into here. We're going to disconnect this. Now be careful because this is clipped into the back of the gate. You're literally going to push, let's see if I can get it to clear here, this little guy right here, push down on that, pull out, and that's how that will disconnect. Alright, next up we got 3 hex bolts here, here, and here. We're just going to loosen these guys and take all 3 of those off. And when you're loosening these hex nuts, you're going to want to use a 10mm socket. So just a bit of information there. 10mm socket, 3 hex nuts. Sorry, hole here and there. Alright, time to remove the rear light plate. So it's got some foam in between it. And I'm just carefully rocking it back and forth just to peel up that foam just so we don't tear it. You guys can rip it off if you want, but I'm trying to be pretty careful with it so I can put everything back right. Alright, so obviously the back side of this light plate, this has never been removed since it came from the factory. You can see it's got this little rubber waterproof little bead that went around the edge. I'm going to try to get that back as best I can. I might just glue it in place right there just to keep any moisture out and recycle it as best I can. You'll see the gate's pretty dirty, so going to do a good cleaning here, and then we'll go on to installing the little weather seal. Alright, so I know y'all like this high quality production, but if you recall, Land Rovers weren't a high quality production in the first place. They just worked really good. Having a old 71 Series 2A with a Defender chassis, those were super fun, and not a lot to them to make them work, but they do really well off-road. As does this, which is why I own it. And sold a 2011 4Runner that was 10 years old when I saw this come up for sale, and haven't looked back. This car, even though this is a 2006, you know, it was probably 5 or 6 years older than my 4Runner. But in this case, this LR3 is literally years ahead of that 4Runner in regards to technology and setup and layout. So anyways, got it all cleaned up. Here's what it's going to look like, and I'm about to put the weather seal on. All right, got the foam on. Don't make the mistake I did. So I cut a piece to try to fit it, but actually this stuff, you can bend it as you're sticking it, as I did over here, and it molds just fine to the curvature. So do not cut this like I did. Just start from the beginning, work your way, and just curve it around as you're peeling it off and sticking it on. All right, so I hung the ladder. It's literally stick it in the crack and then pull back. Once you lay it down flat, line it up, and then you want to just pull back this way so it stays flush against the lip of the tailgate. So let's get that lined up. Looks like it needs to come over a little bit. All right, now comes time to fit this rear light plate cover back over this through the holes. The foam that I installed is going to be the only thing keeping water out, and there's really no insulation left between this outer part and the ladder, so I'm a little worried about that. Probably moving forward in the future, I'm going to take this back off and do a bit of weather seal, as well as maybe redo that foam, the foam padding on the edge. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put this together, see how it holds out water for the time being. Now, I can't tell you how tight to put these nuts back on, but I'll go by my granddad saying tight is tight enough. So you don't want to break anything off. So I'd snug it up pretty good, then maybe a quarter turn a bit tighter. But like I said, tight is tight enough. Go ahead and reconnect this, and we've got the ladder in place right now. All right, next up, it requires you to remove this outer bolt. I'm using a 13 millimeter wrench here. So remove that. We're going to end up putting this bracket in place to secure the top of the ladder so it doesn't go anywhere. All right, clamp is holding in place. Tighten that down. Snug that up pretty good to the tailgate. All right, so that is it. That's the ladder. Now it's just a matter of putting the plastics back on it. But I really like this front runner ladder. I looked at a bunch of different Land Rover ladders, but I liked the front runner because it had the gripped top step. It also had this part of the step here. So just the shape of it in general, it kind of curves in earlier here to stick with the body, and overall the general shape, I like it a lot. So super pleased with it. Anyway, I hope this video helps somebody out. Until next time, thanks.